You might be surprised by what Jeff Skunk Baxter calls his favorite gig of all time. It's not the usual type of gig, but it explains the kind of man he is. Of course, he spent a lot of years working for the government, top secret stuff, and even in this story, he couldn't really say too much about what happened. But it's still a really good story. Jeff Skunk Baxter on Rock History Music. Proudest moment, a cliche question, but what's been not only in music, you've had a lot of life outside of music.
Oh man, that's difficult. Mm-hmm. Bringing certain people together to accomplish something for my country makes me proud. I guess musically, people say, what was your favorite gig? Well, let's see. So we're up on the Thai-Burma border, bringing refugees across the border who are being chased by the Burmese army, and they're killing their kids. It's a long day, let's put it that way. And I can't say why we were there or who I was with. But the children started getting across the border, and they were so frightened. Most of them, there were probably 50 or 60 of them with their parents. They were shaking. I mean, they were terrified is the word. And so we had to figure out something to do. We had to fix this, right? So one of the congressmen that was with Congressman Dana Rohrabacher said, why don't I'm going to find you a guitar. And we found a 4-string guitar made out of a cigar box. Or it was an oil can, a square can. And he said, you got to do something. So we separated the kids into small groups, 3 groups, and we taught them to sing Row, Row Your Boat. And they don't speak any English. You know, they speak Wa or Korean or Karenine or, had nothing to do with English. But we got them into it, and remember when you were kids and you used to sing Row, Row Your Boat, everybody takes a part and it's kind of melds together, it becomes a round. And in about a half an hour, we got the kids calmed down. And I thought, this has got to be one of the greatest gigs ever.
It's life-changing.
Yeah. Now, was it a session? Yeah, I guess, right? Was it a concert? Yeah, maybe. What was it? I'm not sure. But I was very proud of that, to be able to do that.
How'd you get the gig with that? You did one show with Elton John, right?
Yes.
Because I asked Kenny Passarelli, and I remember I talked to him off and on, and I talked to him now and then. And I emailed him, and I says, there's this picture, and there's Jeff Skunk Baxter. And I said, how many shows? And he said, I don't remember 2. So how did that happen?
Reggie came to one of the shows that we did with the Doobie Brothers, and it was in London, and he jammed with us. He played. A tremendous guy, wonderful musician, and just an all-around great guy. And so afterwards, he had asked me if I would be willing to join his band, because he was going to put something brand new together for the Captain Fantastic and Brown Dirt Cowboy. Davy Johnson was going to stay on, but he was going to put together a new band. I said, unfortunately, I really have made this commitment to the Doobie Brothers, but however I can help, you just tell me and I'll help. So he said, well, will you at least do the Captain Fantastic Brown Dirt Cowboy performance at Wembley? Because I want to perform the whole record. I said, of course, man, absolutely. And that's kind of how that came about. He asked, and I said, here's what I can do.
Yeah, he sped everything up, I noticed, but people do with those kind of songs, and it's a normal thing. And it's now, of course, an extra on Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. It's the second disc when you buy it. Totally silly. What's the deal with everyone asking me about the Muppet character that looks like you?
My best guess is I did a lot of studio work for Sesame Street, and Jim Henson. I think when they decided to have a band, a Muppet band, they picked the different folks that were in the studio band and made caricatures of them. So I see some of my colleagues in that band, Mike Baird, Animal drummer,
Yeah.
and David Foster playing keyboards. I think that's where it all came from.
In high school, what kind of a teenager were you, and what were you listening to in high school?
So high school, okay, I went to boarding school.
Okay.
That
age group.
Prep school, yeah, 13 to like 18, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I was listening to everything.
Like all genres.
All genres, because my roommate from the last 2 years was the bass player in the band that we had at school, which was a really good band. It was so good that we were getting asked to play at all the different girls' schools around the area. And because we were young and crazy and was always getting into trouble, the dean of students became our manager and booked the band so he could keep an eye on us. And we gave him 5%. It was great. It was fantastic. And we were listening to everything. And one of the musical Bibles that I had under my arm was Howard Roberts, Color Him Funky and HR is a Dirty Guitar Player. I learned and transcribed every single note of all of that stuff. And then later on, I got a chance to meet Howard, and actually we taught together at the Guitar Institute of Technology. But I also listened to classical music. I listened to everything, because in Mexico was a very eclectic place musically. Everything from oompa bands to rock and roll. The Mexican rock bands were great. I played in a number of Mexican rock and roll bands. Great drummers. That's when I met Abraham Laboriel. We had a surf band together when we were kids. I was 11, he was 12.
What?
Yeah, called the Tarantulas. Yeah, growing up in that kind of eclectic atmosphere, my dad's record collection, my mom's record collection, I brought a lot of that with me. So I listened to everything.
So you were known as a music guy in high school, obviously. I mean,
oh yeah.
Did you you weren't allowed to have a mustache and beard back then, were you?
No.
I don't think I've ever seen a picture of you without your.
And my grade point average was 6.0, because all I wanted to do was practice. That's it. And then when I got into trouble playing, they took away my guitar. And you know how that is.
Take away the thing he loves.
Yeah. So I said, okay, then we're not going to play any more school dances. And after one semester, the student body got together and petitioned the other dean of students and said, this sucks, because nobody would go to the dances. I mean, yeah, they wanted to meet girls, but it was no fun. Mm-hmm. So they said, okay. And that's when the other dean said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be your manager. I'll drive you to the gigs in the pickup truck. We'll go do the work. I said, well, you should take some money for it. He said, I'll take 5%.
There's information on Jeff Skunk Baxter's brand new album, his first solo album of all time. Sure took him a lot of years. He's thinking of doing another one now, by the way, right in the description of this video. Remember, if you want to make a donation to the channel, there are links at the very top to PayPal. You can join our Patreon, get early access to all our videos from all of our channels. But really, like our videos, subscribe to our channel, share them on social media, and comment on them. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music. Take good care of yourself.